out good?
Yeah. We're going.
Perfect. This thing has AC, not AC in here.
No AC in here.
No fucking AC
Yeah.
in here. Holy shit.
Done.
I think it's some shade.
Yeah, that's why I wanted to be in here and not up there.
Yeah.
But I got a camera that I'm recording separately. So if the onload
Just in
stuff
case,
fails,
yeah.
you know.
Oh, this is good.
Yeah. We're live right now.
Oh shit, they already took the freaking window?
Yeah, supposedly they came in through the top. Steve was telling me yesterday they came in through the top.
Unbelievable, right? You give him something nice, finally, you know, respect it, enjoy it. It's a fucking, you know, Jesus. What's that? I know. You better get a fucking fan in here. Get some fucking air circulating or something.
Yeah. Oh, man. Oh, I thought it was supposed to start at 9:30. What's going on?
Yeah, they're over there ready.
I know. We're live. We are
We're
go.
live, ready to go. All right, good.
Oh, it's backwards. I don't even care.
Good morning. My name is Mark Bernard. I'm the proud principal of East Islip High School. On behalf of our Board of Education, Superintendent of Schools, faculty, staff, and the class of 2020, it gives me great pleasure to welcome you to the 93rd Annual Commencement Exercises of the East Islip School District. Thank you very much for a smooth entrance into the stadium. I really do appreciate that. We did this without any practice. I do want to remind you that during the services, you should be wearing your face mask at all times, and please continue to maintain social distancing of 6 feet throughout the entire ceremony. I'd like to invite any of our parents also to please, if you'd like to sit in the bleachers, you may get a better vantage point of the ceremonies as we proceed. At this time, I'd like you to please stand for the salute to the flag. And please remain standing for the playing of our national anthem. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Remain standing.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming? sports stripes and bright stars through the perilous skies. O'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming. And against red land, the bombs bursting in air gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the
Please be seated. Before we get started, I'd like to acknowledge some members of the East Islip School community who worked tirelessly to make today's ceremony possible. Board of Education members, Mr. William Carport, President, Mr. Phil Montori, Senior, Vice President, Mrs. Jessica Carney, Trustee, Mr. Christopher Nicolia, Trustee, and Mr. Christopher Zachary, Trustee. Our District Administration, Mr. John B. Dolan, Superintendent of Schools, Mr. Paul Manzo, Assistant Superintendent for Instruction and Personnel, Mr. Stephen Harrison, Assistant Superintendent for Business, Dr. Lisa Bell, Assistant Superintendent for Human Resources and Administration. Our District Directors, Dr. Sarah Jean Anderson, Mr. Jason Stanton, Dr. Aileen O'Rourke, Mr. Frank Military, Mr. Stephen Estivo, and Dr. Robert Wadwa, and Mr. Richard Zeitlowitz. Our high school administration, assistant principals, Mrs. Jean Marie DeVersa, Mr. Christian Seifert, and Mr. Jim Nolan. And our Cleary administration, Mrs. Jackie Sims, Mrs. Elise Becker Santa, and Mrs. Kathleen Kurzman. I would be remiss in thanking the secretarial staff of the high school, Mrs. Graffinino, Mrs. Amity, Mrs. Walsh, Mrs. Zeman, Mrs. Wisman, Mrs. Gick, Mrs. Taylor, and Mrs. Harrison. I also would like to thank the Buildings and Grounds crew, both in the high school and the district office, Mr. Gonzalez and Mr. Gagliano and their team. They did an excellent job in preparing for this day. Class of 2020. When we started in September, it was with excitement and anticipation of all the great things to come we have coming school year. With references to a 2020 vision, we stood together with a clear idea of what the future holds. We would never have thought that things would so drastically change, but as the eyes of March approached, our clarity was blurred. I would like to take the opportunity to thank the frontline workers within our community who helped us through these difficult times. Thanks to the medical professionals, police officers, firefighters, and food service providers who work daily to keep us safe and fed during this pandemic. Without them, we would not be here today. You are our true hometown heroes. Unexpectedly, we were thrust into a new normal, and we were met with stay-at-home orders as the pandemic became the sole focus. We were bombarded with messages like, for the protection of others, if you're really sick, stay at home and remain there until your fever is over. If you are up and about, protect healthy person from infections. Don't spray others with a secretion from your nose and throat, coughing, sneezing, laughing, or talking. Cover your mouth with a handkerchief. Wash your hands frequently. Keep away from others as much as possible if you have a cough. Sound familiar? Well, it should, especially if you were in the U.S. Navy in 1918. Yes, you heard right. These directives are an excerpt from the circular written by the Navy's Bureau of Sanitation directed to sailors dated September 26, 1918, as we are in the grip of an influenza pandemic. I'm amazed in these days of modern medicine, the expectation for battle the virus go back to the basics of good hygiene. But embedded in that guidance is something so very important. It starts with the protection of others. You see, as individuals, we have an obligation to protect others. Those who cannot protect themselves, those who are compromised, those without a voice. This is our civic duty. By working together, we are better. Collectively, we are stronger. In the words of John F. Kennedy, and so, my fellow Americans, ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country. Your world is changing, and you'll be faced with many challenges. With those challenges come choices, and sometimes those choices are difficult. It's my hope that you make these choices with compassion and sincerity in the face of adversity. As you are confronted with these choices, remember the words of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. The ultimate measure of a man is not where he stands in moments of comfort and convenience, but where he stands at times of challenge and controversy. We are all measured when times are tough. During troubled times, we see ordinary people do extraordinary things. I challenge you to be the best that you can be, to dream big, work hard, and never accept failure. I challenge you to find a cure for cancer, work towards world peace, leave this earth a better place, act unselfishly, and be the voice for those who do not have one. Remember, the only difference between ordinary and extraordinary is a little extra. Class of 2020, please accept these challenges and always keep your vision clear because your future is bright. Remember East Islip as a caring and supportive community and always show your PI pride. At this time, I'd like to introduce you to salutatorian, Justine Rizzo.
Good morning, parents, teachers, administrators, Board of Education members, and my fellow classmates. I am honored and privileged to be able to speak to you today as the salutatorian of the class of 2020. Yes, honored by the acknowledgement of my personal academic record and privileged to be given the opportunity to not only do an extra homework assignment, but to then be asked to read it publicly, not once, but 5 times in front of a large crowd. Thank you, COVID-19. All jokes aside, I am grateful that despite the fact that the world is in the midst of an unprecedented pandemic, we are able to be here together to share this important milestone in our lives. As I thought about what to say in this speech, I figured that I would begin by defining the word graduation itself. For this, I turned to the trusted UrbanDictionary.com. The Urban Dictionary defines graduation as the best known cure to senioritis and similar diseases. Side effects include long gowns, flat square-shaped hats, diplomas, responsibility, college, and/or career. I can testify to the truth in this statement. In my early high school years, and even in the beginning of this school year, I found myself thinking, I can't wait to graduate. Of course, at that time, June 2020 seemed as if it were eons away and graduating was just some abstract idea. As this day approached, I thought to myself, I can't believe I'm finally going to graduate, and at the same moment also thought, I can't believe I'm actually going to graduate. Now I could say that my case of senioritis has definitely been cured, as I feel nostalgic for my years in East Islip schools that have seemed to breeze by. However, I am also excited for what is to come in the future. The duality of the emotions is definitely not lost on me. Saying goodbye to the halls of East Islip High School will not be easy. We will miss the camaraderie of standing on the bleachers together at football games, shooting off confetti cannons, dressing up for Spirit Week, cramming for exams with friends the night before, performing in concerts, and much more. Rather than being sad about what we're leaving behind, we should be celebrating our achievements in this first chapter of our lives. Although all of our paths to reach this final destination have been different, each intertwined with those of others, the important thing is that we all made it here, united as one graduating class of 2020. We are ready to bring our unique talents and EI pride to the next stop on our journey, whether it be college, the workplace, or the military. To get to this point, we have needed and received a great deal of help and support. Thank you to our teachers who have challenged us to be our best selves, not only academically, but as people as well. Thank you to our guidance counselors who have helped us navigate our future plans. Thank you to our administrators for believing in us and making this live graduation and special senior events possible. I would also like to thank SparkNotes, CliffsNotes, Google, Chegg, and Quizlet for being such dependable resources available at any time. Last but not least, thank you to our parents and families for always being there for us. Love you, Mom and Dad. Since I will not have this opportunity again after today, I would like to leave you with a bit of advice. In the words of J.K. Rowling, we do not need magic to change the world. We carry all the power we need inside ourselves already. We have the power to imagine better. Never underestimate yourself and your ability to make a difference. You may be surprised at what you can accomplish. Congratulations to the class of 2020, and I wish you all the best in your future endeavors. Thank you.
Thank you, Josephine. At this time, I'd like to introduce the class president, Caleb Cappy, to introduce the top 25 students of the class of 2020. When you give your name, you please stand. When your name standing, till all names have been called, please hold your applause.
Caroline Meehan, Northeastern University. Justine Rizzo, University of Delaware. Emily Alexander, SUNY Geneseo. Nicholas Baldino, University of South Carolina. Thomas Boyd, Florida Southern College. Alexandra Bundy, CUNY Baruch College. Taylor Capizzoli, University of Miami. Allison Chiarelli, SUNY Binghamton. Patrick Colleary, SUNY Binghamton. Sean Colleary, SUNY Binghamton. Peter Drakes, University at Buffalo. Brittany Clubb, Hofstra University. Robert Krusch, SUNY Binghamton. Paige Lazarus, University of Rhode Island. Stephanie Letty, New York Institute of Technology. Juliana Longo, Vanderbilt University. Peter Miglianico, University of Connecticut. Tyler O'Neill, Syracuse University. Jenna Piacenti, SUNY Portland. Christina Rooney, Vassar College. William Ross, Rochester Institute of Technology. Colleen Schmidt, University of Florida. Margaret Tadlock, Penn State University. Christian Tuck, Long Island University Post. And Samantha Weingart, Muhlenberg College.
Thank you, Caleb, and congratulations to our top 25. Please be seated. At this time, it is my pleasure to introduce to you the valedictorian, Caroline Meehan.
It's hard to believe that we're finally here, graduating. With everything that has happened in these past few months, I was anything but short on material for this speech. I think that's what made it so difficult and terrifying to write, and maybe what made me procrastinate on it until the last minute like I did on every other assignment in high school. I was so focused on picking what I thought would be most important for you, my classmates, to hear, and desperately trying my hardest not to fail at something that was so important to me. But in the end, I knew that I didn't have to make it perfect. I just had to push through my fear and speak about what I knew. What I took away from everything that has happened recently, and what I hope you do too, is that despite all that we have lost, we have gained so much more. As Eleanor Roosevelt once said, you gain strength, courage, and confidence by every experience in which you really stop to look fear in the face. You were able to say to yourself, I have lived through this hard, I can take the next thing that comes along. You must do the thing you think you cannot do. I think that we can all agree that this year was far from what we expected. We lost at best the end of our senior year, and at worst our family and friends, and sadly we could not regain either. But through all of the pain, stress, and loss we've experienced, we made it through. We showed strength when everything around us felt like it was crumbling. We have lived through this horror, and I wish for all of us to recognize that we are fortunate enough to have made it out the other side, hopefully gaining the confidence that we are stronger than we thought, as well as a deeper appreciation for things we may have sometimes taken for granted. While I find that Roosevelt's words apply heavily to this trying time of our young lives, I also believe that they ring true through every hardship we will ever experience. Already we know that life can be challenging. We know that life can be scary. Many of us are moving on to college in a few months, and we'll have the chance to learn and explore new places, to figure out who we are and what we believe in. This thought alone makes me simultaneously excited and terrified. Going off to college, living by ourselves, or interviewing for our first jobs after we graduate from college seem like these abstract, distant things. We think, I'll just worry about that when I get to it, because it's easier than facing our fears over what will happen when we finally do. Failure, rejection, and loss are part of life, but so are triumphs, happiness, and success. One cannot come without the other. We may have had to learn this a bit younger than we thought, but knowing it and using it to keep going when life seems impossibly hard is a virtue that we will never lose. Now it's time for me to say my thank you, so please bear with me for a minute. Thank you to the East Islip community, the music department, and all of my teachers and classmates for your support these last 12 years. Thank you to my art teacher, Faye, for undoubtedly being one of the most loving, kind, and influential mentors I will ever have in my life. Thank you to my amazing coach, Reynolds, and my teammates who have cheered me on with unwavering enthusiasm for the last 4 years, no matter how terribly I ran. Thank you to my best friends for supporting me, loving me, and reminding me to have some fun and not take everything so seriously all the time. And finally, thank you to my family. I owe them everything. Success is never achieved alone, and without them, there is no way that I would be standing here today. Neither would all of you. Through everything, your family is what will enable you to be strong and capable enough to make it through whatever comes your way. Now, I know that most of you will not remember a majority of what I've just said, but if you're going to take anything away from today, remember that. I'm proud of each and every one of us for making this far despite all that's happened, and I wish you all luck in whatever your future may bring. Congratulations.
Thank you, Caroline. At this time, it is my pleasure to introduce to you the Superintendent of Schools, Mr. John B. Dolan.
My friend, of course, Mr. Lamont. How's everybody doing? Why don't you give your parents a nice round of applause, please? It's always intimidating to come to graduation and you put your best and your brightest, you are going to lead us into the future up to speak, and then you ask me to come up here and say something intelligent. But if you listen carefully to what the three speakers said before me, and I already know what Mr. Humbluck's going to say, you know, it's the essence of EI pride. It's about choices. It's about working hard. It's about being better at sunset than you were at sunrise. And you know what? There were people that told us that this wasn't going to happen today. There were people that said this will not occur. And I think there were people that might have given in. But it's so important to see each other and to realize that there's nothing in this world that you can't overcome if you stick together and you work together. And as much as I got a little crazy on the days I had to make those phone calls, I knew there were people out there who supported us, who believed in us, and we knew that this day was going to happen. And you're right, we might have lost out a little bit on some normal traditions, but you folks have created new ones. What really impresses us is that our future is bright, because when you were told you couldn't, you simply did. When you were told it wasn't going to be possible, you made it possible. Whether it was a drive-by or a parade or a celebration, you folks pulled this community together and pulled this community through with 2020 vision. And I'm going to tell you something right now, folks. Anything in life that's easy isn't worth it. Anything in life that is easy is cheap. The things you have to earn are the things you appreciate. Whether it's the relationships you get into, the friendships, the loves, your careers, nothing that comes easy is of any value. And when you were faced with what is undoubtedly the longest, toughest fight we've had to face in my 35 career in public education, you never gave up. You kept going, you kept working, and that's what makes us so proud of you. And that's what EI Pride is. And I'm going to give you one little last piece of advice before I step away. You're going to have to make choices, some tough choices throughout your life. But I'm going to tell you something right now. As you sit there and try to figure out what career you want to put your heart and soul into, make sure you love it. Love it the way you love each other. Love it the way you love DI, because that's where it all started for you. Have a passion for what you do and follow that passion. Get up every morning, go to work, try to make the world around you a better place. And then build a home that you go home to, that you love equally, and you'll complete the full circle of life. It doesn't matter what you do it with passion. It doesn't matter what you do it with a team. It doesn't matter what you do it with the idea that you're going to make the world a better place. And then have a home that you love the way you go to work, and work the way you love, and you'll have a great life. And to the parents, and to the community, and to all our first responders, and for all those good people who simply stayed home so that the world could heal, even though you wanted to do more, thank you very much. And ladies and gentlemen, you got through some really tough times because you had some really good role models. It's been an honor to serve as your superintendent. I'm really looking forward to yearbook signing the day after Thanksgiving and whatever reunion prom you put together. And remember, take a picture of yourself throwing your hat tonight at 8:30. And we'll get as many as we can out on the website. And then that Friday after Thanksgiving, we'll come out here and we'll throw the hats all together. It's been an honor. It's been a pleasure. And if you learn nothing else in your 13 years CDI, this is your home. It's where it started. This will always be your home. And there is nothing you can't accomplish if you work together and you remember the spirit of EI Pride. Thank you very much. Congratulations and enjoy your day.
Thank you, Mr. Nolan. At this time, I'd like to introduce the Board of Education President, Mr. William Carpenter.
All right, thank you. It's an honor to be here. I was thinking how, for some of the seniors, it must be odd to listen to William's talk. What could he offer, right? If anyone knows my son, so I was sitting there kind of giggling to myself about that possibility. So, I know it's late. I'm a high school teacher, so I know everyone here doesn't want to hear from anybody else really right now. They just want to move on and get to home and get to the party they're going to have, whatever it might be. But I just have a few things that I'd like to say. again, it's just an honor to be here. You know, as everyone knows, I love this place. I'm not an East Islip grad, but I really do love being here. You know, one of the things that came out of all of our experiences is I'm sure all the parents are thinking all they want their children to have is, you know, a little normalcy and a lot of happiness. So I thought about that as I made my speech, and I hope that you can give me just a few minutes for listening. Our graduates be told time and again to be happy and have a happy life. As long as you're happy, that's all that matters. But how? The most important lesson of today for me is hopefully the answer to this question. Graduation represents two kinds of happiness. First, the happiness we experience through our senses. We are happy today because we are surrounded by smiles, laughter, and excitement. But this feeling is fleeting. Think about all those times that you had a good meal, or bought something new, or won an award. Sure, you are or were happy, but it was temporary. Long-lasting, deeper joy and happiness does not come from our individual accomplishments. It is not the diploma. This kind of happiness is that sense of fulfillment that wells up within us that may make our throats tighten up or bring a tear to our eye, like many people here today. Fulfillment that comes by giving to others our love, our generosity, our compassion. What you will remember about today is not the piece of paper, but the relationship that you created by giving of yourself to others. For true joy, be guided by 8 simple words. The more you give, the more you have. Be happy, be a success, the future is bright. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Carpenter. And now the moment that we have all been waiting for. Superintendent Dolan, Board of Education, President Mr. Carpenter, and members of the East Islip Board of Education, I hereby certify to you that the students sitting before you have met or exceeded requirements set forth by New York State to graduate high school. We will be calling your names up in just a moment to have them read. We'll start with row 1 over here. We'll have everyone stand in just a moment. You'll give your card to the reader. You'll walk across the 50-yard line. There's going to be 2 opportunities to take photographs. There's one here in front of the bridge, and there's one at the end near the sideline. We'll take 2 photographs there. And the first photograph, I'll be there along with Superintendent Dolan and Mr. Carpluck on your right. I'll be on your left. We'll take a photograph there. You can remove your mask when you take the photograph, but we're going to continue to remain 6 feet apart throughout the ceremony. Caroline, row 1, please stand. Mr. Dolan, Mr. Carpluck, please join me on the field.
Caroline Meehan. Justine Rizzo. Kayla Cappy. Andrew Meehan. Madison Abrami. Gabriel Abruzzo. Christian Acevedo. Joseph Affronti.
Nicholas Agresta. Christopher Alessi. Emily Alexander. Jenna Ali. Ethan Alvarado. Aaron Ambrose. Cade Ambrose.
Neve Amatrano. Justin Anderson. Christopher Andreessen. Gianna Armstrong. Fiona Ash. Liliana Ashley. Nicholas Baldino. Alexis Barber.
Destiny Barnaby. Miranda Barreto. Autumn Bashmiller. Rebecca Vance. Sophia Bates. Brian Bauer. Brendan Belrose. Ashley Burke.
Alexandra Bundy. Shane Brummerlow. Stephen Brown. Carly Brody. Thomas Boyd. Sarah Blumberg. Nicholas Glaschuk. Eric Burke.
David Burke. Troy Burrell. Tracy Burns. Hannah Calarco. Joseph Hannes. Taylor Capizzoli. Joseph Bardone.
Alexa Carreras. Anthony Carroll. James Cardy. Joseph Cassiano. Mia Catalanato. Allison Chiarelli. Emma Chiarelli. Benjamin Chavnek.
Nicholas Cicali. Mookie Chiswick.
At this time, it's my pleasure to introduce you the president of class of 2020, Caleb Cappy, to deliver our farewell address.
Good morning. My name is Kayla Cappy. Let me start by saying it's been a great honor to have been class president for the past 4 years. Welcome to graduation 2020, pandemic style. No one could have predicted or even imagined the situation we are presented with here today. What we are living today is like the plot out of a science fiction novel or film, not the anticipated celebration for the high point of a 12-year journey through the East Islip School District. The class of 2020 is like no other. We have been special from the very first days we met. Each of us unique, yet somehow connected. Perhaps it was the looming specter of 9/11. Something unidentifiable and unspoken has bound us together. And now we must accept our current situation. Together, yet separate, embracing each other while distanced. Perhaps there is no better group to be dealt such a cruel hand. A lesser class would not have been able to persevere in the face of such adversity. We've always been a connected group full of a care and a zest for life. Steady in our resolve to make our school a community and a family, not just a carefree group of kids looking to hurry up and move on. We as a collective enjoyed, or shall I say cherished, our time together in both our social and educational endeavors. Yes, fate has brought us together, and fickle fate has attempted to keep us apart, but it cannot. We refuse and persevere. However, all that we've accomplished could not have been without the love and support of all of you. At this time, on behalf of the class of 2020, I would like to thank everyone who has helped make our journey a success. Thank you to our teachers and administrators for the continued encouragement and support you have given throughout all our academic years. Thank you to the board and entire school community for giving of yourselves in a variety of ways to show how much you care. Thank you to the PTA for going above and beyond, especially these past few weeks, to make our time together here at East Islip School more special and memorable before we have to say goodbye. But most of all, we thank our parents and family who have given us unconditional love throughout all of our triumphs and sometimes failures, throughout the most vulnerable years of our lives. We could not be more grateful. We love and appreciate you more than you will ever know. And now, to the class of 2020. While living in a world of uncertainty and never-ending change, we must remember to use our hearts as well as our heads as we move forward, and move forward we must. The future is unwritten. Through all this adversity, opportunity awaits to influence a world in desperate need to change for the better. It is our chance to make a difference. Having been a part of this distinguished class for the past 12 years, I know there is no obstacle we cannot overcome. As we pursue our goals and our dreams, using all the talents, skills, and knowledge we've acquired throughout these years, I know the world will be a better place. Congratulations, class of 2020. We really made history.
Thank you, Caleb. Before we start with the last portion of our ceremony, just want to give a special thanks to our senior committee. We do have some wonderful decorations around the stadium, and as we walked into the stadium, our senior committee worked tirelessly to put these things together. Of our senior gifts and to make this day special for all of our seniors. So thank you to the members of our senior committee. I'd also like to thank the class advisors, Mrs. Paranello and Mr. Keller. I'm going to give you a few directions first before we start the last portion of our ceremony. So in a moment, I'm going to ask the graduates to stand, and we're going to move the tassel from the right-hand side of our cap to the left-hand side to indicate that you are graduates of 2020. Unfortunately, to maintain our social distancing, we are not going to be doing the traditional cap toss, but as Mr. Dolan had invited you this evening at 8:30 to take those photographs after you toss your cap and post them on our social media. And I also invite you to toss your cap after our virtual ceremony, which is going to be on July 9th. After we complete that portion of our ceremony, I'm going to ask the parents of the graduates that are in the first two rows that are closest to me to join your graduate on the field. We will have our administration from on both sides. We'll go to the middle of the field, and then we will start the recessional out to the entrance where we came in to the stadium. So at this time, class of 2020, please stand. And as my official act, the last official act as the principal of the class of 2020, I ask all the graduates to please take your tassel from the right-hand side of your cap and move it to the left-hand side. And congratulations, ladies and gentlemen. I present to you the newest alumni of the Islip High School in the class of 2020. Parents of the graduates in these first two rows, if you could please join us on the field. Please put your masks on. If you could please join us in the middle of the field. And then we'll start to recessional out. Everyone else, please remain where you are, and then we will get everybody out of here in just a moment. Mr. Carplook, Mr. Dolan, please lead us out of the stadium. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Congratulations to the class of 2020. Parents of the next two rows, if you please join us.
Thank you.